Up to the sky, Christopher Daniels, Frankie Zay, collectively known as SoCal Uncensored or
SCU! This is Catch, Hook, and Shoot, the worst podcast I've ever been on. Word.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Catch, Hook, and Shoot, the best podcast you never heard of. My name's Tom. I am your host. Today is Sunday, April the 4th, 2021. I want to thank everybody for listening, watching, and subscribing on YouTube, Podbean, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts from. Make sure to check out the website, catchhookshoot.com. You can find all the podcasts, all the YouTube videos, all my interviews, photo gallery, the Catch, Hook, and Shoot shop, where you can find some really cool t-shirts and hats. Make sure you're following on social media on all platforms. You can find the show at Catch Hook Shoot. Head to patreon.com/CatchHookShoot for bonus content, which the April content will be up later today. Had to re-record some of it due to some technical difficulties. You know how that goes, but it will be up. The April content will be up a little bit later today. Keep an eye on twitch.tv/CatchHookShoot. Doing watch parties there every now and then. Don't have a regular schedule for it yet. It's always going to be on a Saturday. Probably not going to be one upcoming week because, hey, it's Wrestlemania week. So, not going to do a watch party during Wrestlemania. But, as of right now, I'm just kind of doing them at random times. I'll put it out there on social media that I'm going to be doing a watch party, what we're going to be watching, that kind of thing. It's fun way to interact with all you guys that support the show. So, keep an eye on social media. I'll be posting when there's going to be a watch party on Twitch. We'll be showing some kind of wrestling video or something like that that's, out there on Amazon Prime. And make sure you check out the Pro Wrestling Tees store as well, prowrestlingtees.com/CatchHookShoot. We've got 5 really cool designs over there, including this nice one that I'm wearing right now, the CHS Club, kind of a take on the Bullet Club design. And you can find links to all that and more at linktree/CatchHookShoot. And if you ever want to shoot me an email, it's catchhookshoot@gmail.com. So let's dive into everything that is going on this, the busiest week of the year for professional wrestling. It is WrestleMania week, so let's get right into it, starting off with the match of the week. Alright, so the match of the week this week comes from AEW Dynamite, and it is Christian making his return to the ring, back under his Christian Cage name that he uses outside of WWE. And his first match back, he was taking on Frankie Kazarian. Now, this is a match we've seen before in TNA, and, it did not disappoint. I mean, Christian has been away from the ring for 7 years, and he has not lost a step. I mean, obviously there's going to be some ring rust. He's got to, he looks to be in damn good shape, but there's a difference between being in shape and being in ring shape. But, I was very impressed, having been away for 7 years, to step right back in a match against, somebody the caliber of Frankie Kazarian is no small task, and Christian he killed it. Both these guys killed it. It was a fantastic match. It was the opening match of AEW Dynamite this week, and it was amazing. I loved it. Love seeing Christian back in the ring almost as much as I love seeing Edge back in the ring. So, just a fantastic match between these two guys. If you have not seen it, definitely go back and check it out. Like I always say, if you're only going to watch one match this week, make it Christian Cage versus Frankie Kazarian from AEW Dynamite this past Wednesday. So let's keep it rolling along into the next segment of the show, where I go through my top 3 highlights of the week, and that is called the 3 count. Number 1 on the 3 count this week, the Nightmare family has imploded, to say the least. We had an exhibition match on Dynamite between Cody Rhodes and QT Marshall. Now, this was set up last week. QT basically saying he wants to get out from under Cody's shadow, challenge Cody to an exhibition match. Non-sanctioned, but not hardcore non-sanctioned. Wasn't an anything goes match. It was an exhibition, so it doesn't count towards won-loss records. But Cody or QT wanted to go out there and show, he's his own man. And he can, match up with Cody, and basically wanted to show what he could do. And at one point in the match, QT had gone to the outside, and as he gets back in, just sucker punches Arn Anderson, who was the special referee, and looked as though he had to look like, oh my God, what did I just do? He left the ring, looked like he was going to leave the ring area, and while the Nightmare family is trying to help Arn Anderson, and QT standing on the ramp with his back turned, Aaron Solo, as well as Anthony Ogogo, and Nick Camarado, lost his name there for a minute. So yeah, Solo, Ogogo, and Camarado just decimated the other members of the Nightmare family and just beat them down. Aaron Solo attacked Cody with a chair. QT hit Dustin with a pile driver on the stairs, busted him open, and the other three, Solo, Ogogo, and Camarado, grabbed Cody and had his head laid on the stairs with QT with a chair, looking like he was just going to crack Cody's skull open. And, Red Velvet actually came out and made the save. She was the only member of the Nightmare family not at ringside, and, came out and told QT and the rest of them, what the hell are you doing? This is your friend. This is Cody. So, the Nightmare family is broken, to say the least. So I'm very interested to see where this is going to go. Number 2 on the 3 count from NXT, also this past Wednesday. Really cool video package we saw about the matchup coming at TakeOver between Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly. So definitely go back and check that out. It's just going over their past, their relationship, their history together, and how everything is broken down into this rivalry now, and that's leading to this unsanctioned match coming up at NXT TakeOver this week. Number 3 on the 3 count, a just blockbuster announcement made by WWE just this past, just on Friday, as a matter of fact, because if it had come out on Thursday, everybody would thought it was an April Fool's joke. So they made this announcement on Friday. Chris Jericho will be appearing on the Broken Skull sessions with Stone Cold Steve Austin coming up on Sunday, April the 11th. I'm assuming that's going to be immediately after WrestleMania goes off the air. And that'll be on Peacock, obviously, since as of today, the WWE Network in the U.S. is no more. It's everything's over on Peacock now. So hopefully to God it works the way it's supposed to. That's all I can say. But Chris Jericho appearing on the Broken Skull sessions on the WWE Network or on Peacock with Steve Austin. This is going to be interesting. And, the way Austin said it came about, he did an interview, I believe it was with Sports Illustrated, with Justin Barrasso, if I remember correctly from what I was reading. If I'm wrong, I apologize. But basically, Chris Jericho texted Austin after the Broken Skull sessions with The Undertaker, just to tell him how great the show was, which it was. It was a fantastic interview. And they got to talking, and the subject came up with Jericho possibly being on the show. Austin sent a text message to Vince McMahon saying, hey, what do you think about this? And Vince is like, I think it's great. Do it. And, Austin has said many times he and Vince don't communicate the greatest, especially via text, anything having to do with technology. Neither one of them is real savvy with that. So, he texted him again to reiterate, Chris Jericho wants to come on the show. And you're okay with this. And apparently Vince just texted him back the thumbs up. So we've got Chris Jericho, one of the top guys from AEW, appearing on the Broken Skull sessions on WrestleMania Sunday. So I cannot wait to see this. And according to Stone Cold, they talk about everything. So, AEW has to come up, so I'm looking forward to this more than anything else that I've looked forward to in quite a while. It should be an interesting time. So let's get into all the news and rumors and goings on for this week, starting off with the WWE. We had our latest Hall of Fame inductee announced, and as has been speculated for quite a while now, Rob Van Dam going into the WWE Hall of Fame. So that definitely well-deserved. One of probably the top singles guy to come out of ECW. It's very fitting that he would be the one to go into the Hall of Fame, the first ECW original singles wrestler to go into the Hall of Fame. Obviously, the Dudley Boys were the first ECW originals, went in as a tag team several years ago. And also found out Titus O'Neil is receiving the Warrior Award, and this, I believe, is in with the 2020 inductees. Why they wouldn't give two Warrior Awards, one for 2020 and one for 2021, I'm not sure. But, Titus O'Neil is the one receiving the Warrior Award for the 2020 Hall of Fame class. Moving on to Monday Night Raw, Cedric Alexander and Shelton Benjamin have been kicked out of the Hurt Business by MVP and Bobby Lashley. And a lot of dislike for this, to say the least, online. And especially the most prominent person to speak out against this was Batista. He definitely did not like this move on the part of WWE. But MVP went online to say, the Hurt Business is not broken up. We downsized. So I guess MVP and Bobby Lashley will still be known as the Hurt Business. But Cedric and Shelton are out. Sheamus actually picked up a pinfall on Matt Riddle during a tag team match, and so we found out we were actually going to get a match between the two of them at WrestleMania for the U.S. Championship. We found out that Braun Strowman and Shane McMahon's match at WrestleMania will be a cage match, so count on seeing Shane come flying off the top of that cage at some point during the match. Miz and Morrison put out their latest music video. God, I don't even want to talk about it. It was just ridiculousness. I wasn't a fan. Put it that way. I'm not gonna shit all over it or anything. I mean, I'm sure there's people out there that found it very entertaining. It was obviously a spoof on Bad Bunny, just building up their match coming up at WrestleMania between Bad Bunny and Miz. But the video was just ridiculous. I'm sorry. But this led to Bad Bunny coming out and getting into a confrontation with the Miz and laying him out. Bad Bunny's got a good working punch, as Tony Schiavone would say. So, just laid the Miz out. We saw AJ Styles and Omos just put a beating on the New Day. And this, of course, building towards their tag team title match at WrestleMania. Naomi got a victory over Shayna Baszler. That to me is impressive that, Naomi would pick up that victory. We had the contract signed between Asuka and Rhea Ripley for their match coming up at WrestleMania, which was interrupted by Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler. And so we found out we're going to have that match next week. Nia and Shayna versus Asuka and Rhea Ripley. Had another episode of Alexa's Playground, which surprisingly didn't make it into the 3 count this week, and not because I didn't like it or anything like that. Just the Jericho announcement bumped him out. But Alexa's Playground, basically we saw Alexa saying at WrestleMania the Legend Killer is going to die, and we saw the Fiend with his new look sitting there on the swing set next to Alexa. And I saw an interesting take on this online. I believe it was on Facebook in one of the wrestling groups I'm in. I don't have it here in front of me. But somebody speculating, this started off as the Fiend kind of, possessing, for lack of a better word, Alexa and turning her to his side and kind of controlling her and making her his minion or whatever you want to call it. Now it seems to be flipping a little bit, and Alexa seems to be the one in control with the Fiend now. She's got her little Fiend in the box where, when she turns the little handle and the box pops open, that's when the Fiend appears. So now it seems like Alexa now is the one pulling the strings on the Fiend. I thought that was a very interesting take and, makes a lot of sense. So, Yeah, honestly, this is one of the matches I'm looking forward to the most at WrestleMania is The Fiend versus Randy Orton, especially because it appears it's going to be just a straight-up wrestling match. And with fans being in attendance, we're not going to see the camera tricks and the pre-recorded video unless it's something, backstage. But when it's in the ring, there's a live crowd there, so we're not going to see any of the magic, quote-unquote, that we've seen over the last several weeks and months with Orton and The Fiend and Alexa, so I'm really looking forward to this one. Drew McIntyre got a victory over Ricochet and over Mustafa Ali. This coming off of Bobby Lashley basically telling the entire locker room, if anybody can take out Drew McIntyre, they get his spot at WrestleMania. And then after this, Lashley cut a little bit of a promo on McIntyre. This broke down into a brawl between McIntyre and Lashley, and then we saw King Corbin come in and go on the attack. Now, King Corbin not a part of the Hurt Business. That's directly from MVP, from what he posted online, but Corbin looking to take out McIntyre and wants that WrestleMania spot. I don't think that's going to happen, but so Corbin, I guess, is back on Raw. From the looks of it, unless this is that, once a quarter exchange thing that nobody remembers. So we'll have to see. Moving on to some NXT news. NXT has officially announced they are moving to Tuesdays starting after WrestleMania on April 13th. And, they're obviously people are saying this is because AEW has been beating them in the ratings every week or most weeks, not every single week, but majority of the time AEW has the higher ratings for Wednesday night. But, realistically, with NBC doing away with the NBC Sports division, NHL Hockey's moving to the USA Network. If they don't move NXT, there's going to be a lot of preemptions for sports. So, it makes sense making this move from a business standpoint. So, that I think is the bigger reason for the move is the aspect of NBC moving a lot of their sporting events to the USA Network. Now moving on to NXT TV for this week, Cameron Grimes got a win over Roderick Strong. A little bit later on in the show, we saw Strong leaving the building and saying he's done. So not sure what that means. If he's going to be maybe taking a little hiatus and coming back in another time. But Roderick Strong saying he's done, and this obviously springing from the split of the Undisputed Era and him kind of being stuck in the middle between Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly and kind of being snubbed by both of them. So, Roderick Strong right now kind of a man without a country and just seems kind of defeated. So we'll have to see. Hopefully they have a plan for him to come back because, Roderick Strong, fantastic in-ring performer, and it would be a shame if he just kind of fell down the card because the Undisputed Era broke up. So hopefully we'll see what comes of Roderick Strong after this. Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell laid down a challenge to Shotzi Blackheart and Ember Moon for the NXT Women's Tag Team titles at TakeOver, which was accepted. Raquel Gonzalez and Io Shirai basically brawled throughout the entire show, like 3 or 4 different points throughout the show. Gonzalez attacked Io backstage, left her laying, then Io went on the attack after Gonzalez got a victory over Zoe Stark in a damn good match. Zoe Stark is impressing the hell out of me, and obviously impressing people in NXT because she's getting very high-profile matches. She is going to be in the title picture very, very soon. She's been putting on some great, great performances. But after that match, Io went on the attack again against Raquel Gonzalez and actually got another beatdown. And then again at the end of the night, they got into another brawl. So this match really being built up between Io Shirai and Raquel Gonzalez. It's going to happen on TakeOver. And some interesting little vignettes that we saw throughout the night on NXT. We saw a little Pomeranian little fluff ball dog running around outside the Capitol Wrestling Center, then inside the Capitol Wrestling Center, and then at the last vignette running up, all we saw was like a high-heeled shoe or whatever, and it said see you on April 13th, which is the debut on Tuesdays of NXT. See you on April 13th, signed Frankie. I'm guessing Frankie's the dog's name. And if you're if you've been a fan of Impact or anything like that, you know this is signaling the debut of Taya Valkyrie. So Taya looks like she will be making her debut on the NXT after WrestleMania on Tuesday the 13th. So I'm interested to see how her debut is going to go. Who are they going to put her in there with? Who's her first opponent going to be? Very excited to see Taya Valkyrie in NXT. I hope to God they let her keep her name, because she is somebody who has built her name outside of WWE for years in Mexico and in the U.S. in Impact and Lucha Underground, AAA. Became one of the top women stars outside of WWE. So hopefully she will still be known as Taya Valkyrie, or at the very least she'll be known as Taya, because WWE seems to like people with only one name. So, we'll have to see. But Taya Valkyrie debuting April 13th on NXT when they move to Tuesdays. Xia Li, again, takes out Casey Catanzaro. Casey Catanzaro's got to get a win at some point, doesn't she? Xia Li has been beating the crap out of her on pretty much a weekly basis. But then we also saw Kaden Carter, of course, was out with Casey Catanzaro, and she got in the face of the cloaked figure who seems to be pulling the strings for Xia Li and Boa. I believe her name is Mei Ying. And, Mei Ying just like blew smoke into Kaden Carter's face, and she dropped. So, interesting segment there with that one. Then we saw, again, that video with Kyle O'Reilly and Adam Cole hyping up their match coming up at TakeOver. Very well done. Definitely go and check that out. And then we had a battle royal for the, not for the number one contendership for the North American title, but to decide the participants in a gauntlet match that will decide the number one contender for the North American title at TakeOver. That gauntlet match is going to take place on night 1 of TakeOver, and the 6 participants are LA Knight, Bronson Reed, Leon Ruff, Swerve Scott, Cameron Grimes, Dexter Lumis. So those 6 men will be in that gauntlet match. The winner of that will be the number one contender for the North American title, and will go against Johnny Gargano on night 2 of TakeOver. Coming off of that battle royal, we found out there's going to be another match on night 1 of TakeOver. Pete Dunne taking on Kushida. They eliminated each other from the battle royal, and they've been going back and forth about who's the greatest technical wrestler in NXT right now. So that match has the potential to steal the show. So I'm really looking forward to that one. Again, we've got another brawl between Io Shirai and Raquel Gonzalez to end the show. And so that was NXT. And moving on to NXT UK, a couple of quick notes here. Walter pulling double duty this week. He's part of NXT TakeOver, also part of NXT UK's WrestleMania week show called Prelude. He's defending the UK title against Tommaso Ciampa on NXT TakeOver, and if he retains it, he's defending it against Rampage Brown on NXT UK Prelude. So, and they Walter and Rampage Brown had a face-to-face sit-down, as it were, on NXT UK this week, and just a great promo between these two guys hyping up this match. And then we had another promo in the ring from Kaylee Ray, the NXT UK Women's Champion, basically, again, saying longest reigning Women's Champion on the current roster, longest reigning NXT UK Women's Champion ever. And she was interrupted by a returning Millie McKenzie. Has not been in NXT UK in 2 years, making her return. Was attacked by Isla Dawn, and Meiko Satomura came out to make the save. And we found out we were going to get a tag team match with Kaylee Ray and Isla Dawn taking on Millie McKenzie and Meiko Satomura at NXT UK Prelude. So that should be a damn good match too. Moving on to SmackDown, we had a promo from Edge to open up the show, basically saying the Rated R Superstar is back. This after the attack that he put on Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan with the chairs, going for the concertos on both guys, not able to hit them. But so Edge taking on a little bit of heel tendencies, but I don't think he's a full-on heel, so I think he's going more the tweener route, it would appear. That's my take on it. So it gives an interesting twist to this triple threat match coming up at WrestleMania. You've got the babyface Daniel Bryan, the heel Roman Reigns, and in the middle you've got Edge. Kind of could go either way. We had another promo with Rollins and Cesaro with Corey Graves in the ring, and just the colors of those suits were blinding between Graves and Rollins. But, good promo hyping up their match for WrestleMania. And then we had just a women's tag team brawl. Was, originally a match between, God, I forgot who was even in the match, but it ended up in a brawl between Shayna and Nia, Natty and Tamina, the Riot Squad, who haven't been on TV in God knows when, Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke, and Naomi and Lana. So I'm thinking this is somehow going to set up a women's tag team title match, maybe for one night of WrestleMania, on one of the pre-shows, maybe, if they're doing pre-shows for them. I don't even know. I know there was speculation that there would not be a pre-show for WrestleMania, which I think, for you to pick WrestleMania, your biggest show of the year, not to do a kickoff show, it just seems odd. So we'll have to wait and see. But if this is not setting up some type of multi-team women's tag team title match, I'd be very, very surprised. And then we had the debut of the trailer for Sami Zayn's documentary that he's been making seemingly forever, with his special guest, Logan Paul. And Sami invited Logan Paul to be at WrestleMania, which, of course, he accepted. And I get it. I posted this online. From a business standpoint, I get it. Logan Paul is a big name. He's got a huge following. So it gets a lot of eyes, a lot of new eyes on WWE and WrestleMania. So from that standpoint, I get it. I do not like Logan Paul. I'm not a fan of his, and I'm not saying I don't like him personally. I don't know him personally. I don't know if the persona that you see from him online is really how he is, or if he's just playing a character, much like, professional wrestlers. The person you see on TV is not necessarily the person they are in real life. So, I'm not going to assume Logan Paul is the asshole he portrays online, but, just the personality that he puts forward online, I'm not a fan. I'll just leave it at that. But, at the end of the segment, we saw Kevin Owens come out and attack Sami Zayn, hit him with another stunner. Basically leading up to their match at WrestleMania, Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn, and Logan Paul having some kind of involvement. And then in the main event, Daniel Bryan defeated Jey Uso in a street fight. And after that, we saw, just a brawl break out between Bryan, Edge, and Roman Reigns yet again. This time it was Daniel Bryan who basically beat the hell out of both guys, and he was the one left standing tall in this one. And then this coming week on SmackDown, they've got a special WrestleMania edition of SmackDown, because it's the night before WrestleMania starts. And that's where we're actually going to see the Andre the Giant Battle Royal, as well as a Fatal 4-Way for the SmackDown Tag Team titles. Not sure how I feel about this. There's no reason those matches couldn't be on WrestleMania. As it stands right now, last time I checked, there are 6 matches booked for each night. Don't tell me you couldn't fit one more in there, or if they are going to have a pre-show, put it on the kickoff show, whatever. So, I don't know. It is what it is. Those matches are taking place on what they're calling WrestleMania SmackDown. So let's move on to some AEW news here. On AEW Dark Elevation, Miro put another beatdown on Orange Cassidy and Chuck Taylor. We saw Diamante lay down a challenge to Thunder Rosa. That is a match that I'm looking forward to seeing whenever it happens. Layla Hirsch picked up another win. I am very, very high on Layla Hirsch. She is somebody who I really want to see in the AEW Women's Championship picture, and I'm sure we're going to at some point. I mean, she just recently signed with the company. She's working her way up through Dark and Elevation, so I can't wait to see her put into a more prominent rivalry and see where she goes. Private Party got a win over Bear Country, and then we saw Jurassic Express get involved in that one. Scorpio Sky got a win over Mike Seidel, and again got Mike Seidel in the heel hook, and just like last week, would not release the hold after the bell. It took Matt Seidel coming down to make the save, and then Ethan Page came in and attacked Matt Sydal, and then Paige and Sky left together. So it looks like we've got a new partnership in AEW. The Dark Order continues their winning ways on AEW Dark. Waiting for Dark Order to get a title shot of some sort. Jonathan Silver got the TNT title shot last week, but I'm waiting to see Dark Order more consistently in title pictures, because the way that they're going on Dark and Elevation. I mean, they've lost one match in the last 3-4 months. So waiting to see that. Getting into Dynamite this past Wednesday, I already talked about Christian versus Kaz on the opening match. Fantastic match. Go back and watch it, especially if you're a fan of Christian like I am. Edge and Christian, probably my favorite, or at least in my top 3 favorite tag teams of all time. I talked about the QT Marshall and Cody Rhodes match that just completely destroyed the Nightmare family. Then after Red Velvet made the save for Cody, she was attacked backstage by Jade Cargill, so that rivalry is not over. We saw another promo from Team Taz. They're continuing to build the dissension among them. It looks like Brian Cage is going to be splitting away from Team Taz, so I would assume he would go off on his own at some point in the near future. Then we saw a promo from Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page on Dynamite. So they are, they're definitely a cohesive unit. So I'm interested to see, are they going to be going for tag team titles? Are they going to keep going the individual route and just backing each other up? So we'll see. Saw a backstage segment with Pinnacle in their locker room, which they basically kind of commandeered from the Inner Circle. And MJF has an interior decorator. They're planning all these, changes to the locker room and things like that. And MJF opens the door to the bathroom, and there stands Chris Jericho, Sammy Guevara, and Santana and Ortiz. So he quickly closed the door, tells the Pinnacle, we need to go. And as he opens the door to the locker room, there stands Jake Hager, who punches him dead in the face. And this just broke down into an all-out brawl between both factions. We saw some blood. Saw, Pinnacle basically just getting the crap beat out of them. So I'm loving this rivalry with Inner Circle and Pinnacle. And I hope this leads to the Blood and Guts match that was talked about before the pandemic started. It was originally supposed to be Inner Circle versus the Elite, but of course that was put on hold because, weren't able to have fans there. They didn't want to do the match without fans. I get that. So if it ends up being Inner Circle and Pinnacle in this Blood and Guts match, which is basically a War Games match, the way they described it, I cannot wait to see that, because you're going to see all these guys just beating the living shit out of each other inside of a 2-ring cage. We saw a backstage promo with Don Callis and Matt Jackson. Callis actually slapped Matt Jackson across the face, which and this is stemming from the Bucks basically walking out on Kenny Omega and the Good Brothers because they don't like don't like the things that Omega and the Good Brothers have been doing. And talking about Omega and the Good Brothers, they got a victory over the Lucha Brothers and Laredo Kid. Laredo Kid been filling in for Pac, who's been out with, I guess, a minor injury because he's coming back this week. And then Moxley and the Bucks came out after this match, confronted Omega and the Good Brothers, and found out we are going to have a trios match this next week with Moxley and the Young Bucks taking on Kenny Omega and the Good Brothers. Now, I'm a little wary of this because as much animosity as there's been between Omega and the Young Bucks and the Good Brothers, could it be a swerve? I mean, hell, we're talking about Bullet Club, so could we see the Bucks turn on Moxley and just see a 5-on-1 situation here? Wouldn't surprise me. Put it that way. I would not be shocked. And then the main event of AEW Dynamite this past week was this Arcade Anarchy match between Orange Cassidy and Chuck Taylor taking on Miro and Kip Sabian, where there were arcade machines all around the ring. Now, these machines were empty, you could tell, but still, it was a cool look. I'm not, not disparaging it in any way, but, at one point, Miro picked up one of the machines, and you could tell it was hollow. It was just the shell. But yeah, it was an entertaining match. We saw a couple of returns during this match. Chris Statlander popped out of a claw machine and took out Penelope Ford. So Chris Statlander is back. I love this. She is my favorite women's wrestler in AEW. So it's awesome to see her back. You know, I hate that Anna Jay is out with an injury, because Anna Jay and Chris Statlander is a match that I want to see over and over again. So, you know, hopefully, you know, Chris Statlander stays healthy, and Anna Jay will be back in a few months, and because that's a rivalry I want to see. I want to see Statlander and Anna Jay. But anyway, Statlander took out Penelope Ford during the match, and then hit Penelope Ford with a Falcon's arrow through an air hockey table. It was an interesting spot. It was really cool looking. And then later on in the match, we saw yet another return as Miro and Chuck Taylor were fighting outside the ring. We saw a white minivan pull up, driven by Sue. And, of course, where you see Sue, that's where you see Trent. Trent Beretta, or I'm sorry, just Trent, making his return from injury. And, the best friends picked up the victory in this arcade match. And, you know, of course, at the end of the match, we saw the big hug in the middle of the ring between Trent, Chuck Taylor, and Orange Cassidy, and Chris Statlander joined in on that one as well, because you got to give the people what they want, as Excalibur always says. And AEW also announced they're going to be doing their first ever house show coming up on Friday, April the 9th. And, it sounds like it's going to be a pretty damn good show. A battle royal for number one contender of the TNT Championship, and they will get that title match later the same night. Cody taking on Aaron Solo. That should be a damn good match after what happened with the Nightmare Family. So, AEW doing their first ever house show on April the 9th. Moving into some Impact news. Impact announced they are also moving to Thursday nights starting this coming week. Also found out Eric Young is out 6 to 9 months with a torn ACL. Apparently tore his ACL in the main event of this show, as a matter of fact, during the TV tapings. But still wrestled, I believe, 2 or 3 more times in that set of tapings with the injury. So, Eric Young, torn ACL, out 6 to 9 months. We saw Nevaeh turn on Havoc during their match this week. And this has been kind of hinted at a little bit over the last couple of weeks. So, Nevaeh and Havoc have been split up, which is kind of disappointing to me. I like them as a tag team, but I'm definitely interested to see this rivalry and where it's going to go. And the big thing with this week, it was James Storm's 1,000th Impact match. And that was the main event, was James Storm versus Eric Young. But Chris Harris, James Storm's former tag team partner in America's Most Wanted, was actually there, and it was in James Storm's corner for the match. So that was really cool to see. I mean, America's Most Wanted, damn good tag team from the early days of TNA, multiple-time tag team champions. So really cool to see Chris Harris there for that match. We saw Triple XL attack Sami Callihan. After his match, and Trey Miguel did not make the save for Callihan as Callihan did for Trey last week, which, Sami confronted him about afterwards in the back, and Sami Callihan basically saying he wants to be Trey Miguel's mentor. So I'm not sure where they're going with this. I'm sure he will end up being Trey Miguel's mentor at some point by hook or by crook, so we'll have to see. Brian Myers turned down a challenge from Matt Cardona, but I'm sure that's going to, I'm sure that challenge will continue to be made, and that match is going to happen at some point. We found out at the Hardcore Justice event that's coming up, I believe it's this Friday or Saturday on Impact Plus. Jazz is going to be taking on Deonna Purrazzo for the Knockouts Championship, and Jazz is putting her career on the line in this one. So this could be Jazz's final match, unless Impact is going to give her a run with the women's title, which I have no issue with. But by all accounts, Jazz retiring this year from pro wrestling, so this could be her final match, or she could get one more run with the title. So we'll have to see what happens with that. We saw Kenny Omega and the Good Brothers attack Rich Swann and Willie Mack in the back, and the save was made by Eddie Edwards. So pretty sure that's going to lead to a 6-man tag team match. And then the main event, James Storm got the victory in his 1,000th Impact match against Eric Young. And like I said, Eric Young did tear his ACL during this match, so he's going to be out for quite a while. Moving on to MLW, they had their Never Say Never event, and it was all about injustice in this one. Jordan Oliver got a victory over Simon Gotch. Myron Reed got a victory over Davari, and Fatu, of course, with a little bit of help, got retained the MLW World Heavyweight Championship against Calvin Tankman. But that was a damn good match between those two big guys. So that's another one I would suggest you check out. And MLW also announced a collaboration with Dragon Gate. So those forbidden doors are just opening all over the place. We're seeing a lot of collaboration outside of WWE. So hell, even with WWE, with Jericho appearing for them now on the Stone Cold show. So yeah, those forbidden doors are coming down. Hopefully it continues. I'm loving all of this crossover that we're seeing between promotions. So hopefully this continues. Moving on to some Ring of Honor news. Mike Bennett and the Beer City Bruiser fought to a no contest when Beer City Bruiser went for a broken bottle outside the ring. I don't think I've ever seen I can't say I've never seen a broken bottle used in a wrestling ring. James Storm did it all the time. But he would break the bottle over the guy's head. He didn't break it on the ring post and look like he was going to stab somebody with it. So, yeah, but that was the case here. So, no contest in that one. And Fred Yehi won a pure gauntlet match, which, my God, this was such a great match. Another one. This was damn near match of the week. You know, if the Christian and Kaz match had not been Christian's return to the ring after 7 years, this gauntlet match would have been match of the week. Just fantastic wrestling going on in this one. If you have not seen Ring of Honor from this past week, it's on Fight TV for free. Hell, Ring of Honor's all over the damn place. I believe you can even watch it on their weekly TV on their website. So find this match and watch it. It was a pure gauntlet match. Fred Yehi was the winner, and it was just an amazing match all the way around. A little bit of New Japan news. The new World Heavyweight Championship was unveiled. Personally, I like the title. Of course, it caught a lot of heat online. People saying it looks like the old Divas title, which it does not. Not even close. The shape of it, now somebody did point out the shape of it kind of looks like the Nightmare Family logo that Cody Rhodes has tattooed on his neck. The outline of it has a relatively similar shape, but to say it looks like the Divas belt is just pure stupidity, because it looks nothing like it. There's no butterflies, there's no wings, there's nothing. So whatever. I think it's a good looking title. It's a big departure from the old IWGP Heavyweight Championship, which I know people were very attached to. It's a gorgeous belt. Don't get me wrong. That was probably, outside of the NWA World Heavyweight title, the IWGP Heavyweight title was probably my favorite belt in wrestling. But, this new one, obviously it's going to take time for people to get used to it. It's going to grow on people. I personally like it. I think it's a cool design. And if you look at the history of New Japan, every time they've changed the top title, the belt, it's been a drastic change. It's just, the previous one that they just retired was everybody's favorite. It was the best design that they had to date, and I'll agree with that. But the new design is nice. I like it. I like the old one better, I'll say that. But this one, I have no issue with it. And like I said, I think it's going to grow on people, but people need something to complain about. That's all there is to it. And another new championship unveiled by New Japan. It was revealed that the winner of the New Japan Cup USA will be the first ever New Japan Strong Openweight champion. So, they unified the heavyweight and intercontinental titles into the World Heavyweight title, and then they introduced the New Japan Strong Openweight Championship. Again, nice looking belt. It's very different from any of the other New Japan belts that are out there right now, and I actually saw somebody say online, "Oh, New Japan's getting as bad as WWE with their titles." Not even close, man. New Japan, even with this new one that they've introduced, have 7 championships. Okay? WWE has 20. So it's not even close. So, but, again, I like the look of the title. Of course, there's people online that are crapping all over it. It is what it is. Talking about championships, in the NWA, we've got a new national champion in... Chris Adonis. I'm sorry. Again, lost his name. Defeated Trevor Murdoch on this week's edition of NWA Powerrr to become the new NWA national champion. So that's going to wrap things up for news and rumors and everything like that for the week. Just want to let everybody know, dropping tomorrow on Monday will be our special WrestleMania week preview special. Just breaking down all the events going on during WrestleMania week, the WWE events, I should say. Going to get into detail on those. Charlie G is going to have a special edition of the Indie Cut, going through all the indie shows that are taking place this week. My God, there's a lot of them. But I'm not going to get into detail on every single one. But, yeah, talking about the indie shows going on, I'm going to break down the Hall of Fame, NXT TakeOver, NXT UK Prelude, and all that kind of stuff. So make sure you check that out on Monday. Should be dropping, I believe it's going to be at noon. Our WrestleMania week preview special dropping on Monday, April the 5th at noon. So make sure you check that one out. And some other miscellaneous news here. Charlie Caruso, or Charlie Arnold, I believe is how you pronounce her shoot last name, is done with WWE. She has signed a full-time contract with ESPN. So, which kind of sad. I like Charlie. You know, I liked her interactions with the wrestlers. I especially liked her interactions with Zelina Vega, who obviously not there anymore. But Zelina always called her $2 Chuck and stuff like that. So, yeah. But Charlie Caruso gone from WWE, is now with ESPN full time. So, congrats to her. I'm sure that's a great, a great deal. I mean, God, ESPN is pretty much the top sports network out there. So, congrats to Charlie. So that is going to do it for news and rumors and results and all that fun stuff for the week. So right now I'm going to throw it over to Charlie G, and he is here with your Indie Cut.
Thank you, Tom, and hey, the wrestling friends. I am Charlie G with this week's heavily edited Indie Cut. There was a lot of wrestling action, so let's begin with Friday, March 26th, and Stardom Road to Yokohama, Dream Cinderella show. Once again, Stardom put on an excellent show. Started off with, for the Future of Stardom title match, champion Saya Iida defeated Ruaka. Natsupoi defeated Gokigen Death and Lady C. Himeka and Maika defeated Hina and Utami Hayashita. Hina did finally return. And six-woman tag was Hanan, Mayu Iwatani, and Starlight Kid defeating Natsuko Tora, Rina, and Saki Kashima. Rina also returned, so it's nice to see that. Julia and Siri defeated Bea Priestley and Konami. Excellent match there. And for the Artist of Stardom title match, the champions Mina Shirakawa, Tam Nakano, and Unagi Sayaka defeated Azumi, Momo Watanabe, and Saya Kamatani. Excellent match, great show nonetheless. And as always, we head down to Battle Championship Wrestling 42 from East Burwood, Australia. There was a BCW Battle Express title match with champion Mitch Waterman and Robbie Eagles. They went to 2 10-minute draws, so no change there. But then at the end of the night, for the heavyweight title, champion Nick Burry defeated Robbie Eagles by DQ. So Robbie had 3 matches that night. So nice to see him back in action, though. We head back to the States for Wrestling March Madness 2021 from Crossville, Tennessee. They had a Resolute pound-for-pound title match where champion Sean Simmons defeated Cody Manhorn. For the Resolute tag titles, the Lucha Raider and the Skull Quizador defeated champions AJ Kazani and Chris Hensley to become new champions. Then for the Resolute Undisputed title, David Firestein defeated champion Brett Eisen to become new champion there as well. PWA, PSW, PCW had shows. Platinum Championship Wrestling from Covington, Georgia for the PCW Dealer's Choice title match. ERC defeated champion Hold My Beer Hansen to become new champion. Pro Aces and Eights reunion. Yep, Aces and Eights were in action. That came from Rome, Georgia. So for the vacant W4CC title, Johnny Swinger, of all people, defeated John Schuyler to become the champion. Jordan Grace defeated Stormy Lee. Garrett Bischoff and Wes Briscoe defeated Bodie Williams and Shane Malice. Kaz XL was back in action. He defeated Simon Sermon. Air Paris and Kevin Ryan defeated Francisco Siesto and Logan Creed. For the KLT title, champion Jack Mosley defeated Ziggy Dice. And six-man tag, D'Lo Brown, Doc, and Knox defeated Bryce Cannon, Matt Odoms, and Wolvington. So Aces and Eight just won pretty much the show. Great Lakes Championship Wrestling, the Big Val Bolski from Cedarburg, Wisconsin. That title should give you a hint who was in the show. For the OVW Women's title, champion Haley J defeated Sierra. For the heavyweight title, Backwoods Brown, who was champion, defeated Joey Avalon. And Val Venus defeated Luscious Lawrence. So yes, Val Venus was in action. APW, IHW were all in action. To the CMLL Cooper Jr. 2021 pay-per-view, which was on Ticketmaster Live, so that's why it was so hard to find out information. For the Cooper Jr. 2021 Cybernetic match, Angel Diora won that, last eliminating Caristico. That'd be a good match. For the CMLL World Trios title, best 2 out of 3 falls match, of course. El Caterio, Stranger, and Sanson defeated champions Euphoria, Great Warrior, and Last Warrior to become the champion. And then the match of the night, I wish I would have saw all of it, for the NWA World Historic Welterweight title, champion Volador Jr. defeated Bandito 2 falls to 1. So if you paid attention last week, Ring of Honor had their anniversary show. Bandito had 2 matches, and then appeared at CMLL and had another great one as well. Yeah, we'll just go with that. On to Saturday, March 27th. There was a 0-1 special Pro Wrestling All-Star Great Charity Festival show where Kaz Hayashi, Soma Watanabe, and Takanori Ito defeated the Strong Hearts of Shima, El Lindemann, Issei Anatsuka, and T-Hawk. Mosada Tanako and Takira Sugurura, Asuka and Hayato Tamura defeated Aja Kong, Ren Ayabi, Shinjiro Otani, and Yumihito Imanari. Of course, there was a Kaliga Pro on YouTube. Big Japan Pro Wrestling Deathmatch Survivor Day 4. Shuma Katsumata lost his match to Yuko Miyamoto. PWA Black Label Always Bring Your Gear from New South Wales, Australia. That is on the Fight Network. Nathan Pigeon defeated Shaja McKenzie. And then Kyle Fletcher and Mark Davis with Robbie Eagles defeated Matt Diamond, Jude London, and Paris De Silva. So Robbie was really in action that weekend. There was a Rock and Roll Wrestling, ICW Fight Club 165, Wrestle Club The Forge, World League Wrestling from Troy, Missouri. Mike Sedell defeated John Webb. And for the WLW Junior Heavyweight title, Jaden Dominic Rose defeated champion Sean Patrick to become the champion. Wrestle Against Hunger from Turley, Oklahoma. El Gringo Loco and Elijah Sparks with Pastor Brent defeated Dan Weber, Reese, and Samita. And for the vacant Living Hope title, Spike Lopez won that. New York Wrestling Connection was in action on YouTube. Innovative Pro Wrestling, The Homecoming from Kingsport, Tennessee. Bunch of title changes here. So we got Chris Richards winning the IPW television title in a 6-way match. For United States Tag Team titles, Aiden Cross and Christian Cross defeated champions Elliott Russell and Sigmund. For the United States title, Toby Farley defeated champion Jordan Cage, becoming champion there as well. And Chase Owens defeated Gustavo Aguilar. So Chase was even in action, so that's nice to see. ICW from Wisconsin was in action. Great Lakes, back to Great Lakes Championship Wrestling. Mania, where Val Venus was back in action, defeating Joey Avalon. Empire Pro Wrestling had a show. Championship Wrestling Memphis was on YouTube. Anarchy Wrestling from Cornelia, Georgia. In a grudge match, Ben Buchanan took on Griff Garrison to a contest. Kind of short match there. I don't know. I don't understand that. On to Sunday, March 28th, Stardom had an afternoon show where Siri defeated Lady C and Momo Watanabe. B. Priestley and Konami defeated Mayu Iwatani and Saida. And then they had a top unit tournament first round matches where Mina Sarakawa, Tam Nakano, and Unagi Sayaka defeated Azumi Sayakamatani and Utami Hashita. And in another round match, it was Natsuko Tora, Ruaka, and Saki Kashima defeating Julia Himeka and Maika. Saki, I believe, picked up the win in that with her mousetrap pin. Kind of in an upset there, but Julia and Maika Himeka have been butting heads since they have a big match coming up in about 12 hours on Sunday. So, yeah. Don Demondo's not acting very well together. For the high-speed title, champion Natsupoi defeated Shelly Kid in a very fun match between these two. About 13 minutes long. Fun match. Check that out if you can. Then their evening show. B. Priestley defeated Lady C. Konami, Momo Watanabe, and Shelly Kid went to a 15-minute draw. Natsupoi and Siri defeated Mayu Iwatani and Saida. In the top unit tournament third place match, Julia Himeka and Maika took on Azumi Sayakamatani and Utami Hashita to a 15-minute draw as well. A good match. And for the final match, it was Natsuko Tora, Ruaka, and Saki Kashima defeating Mina Sarakawa, Tam Nakano, and Unagi Sayaka. And Saki picked up the victory there as well. So Oda Tai looks to go after the Cosmic Angels titles. Not tomorrow, not coming up, but I think their next show in a couple weeks or so. On to Oz Academy. Aja Kong and Akino defeated Utsi Oiki and Tsubasa Kuragaki. And for the Pure J Openweight title, Kari Yoniyama, who's champion, defeated Misa Matsu. So Kari is just defending her title like crazy. There was a New Japan Road to Sakura Genesis Day 1 show. Gotta Move Chaka Pro 100 Day 2 on YouTube. So Mizuki defeated Mei Suruga. They had a very cool match between those two. And for the Super Asia title, which is vacant, Minoru Fujita defeated Balian Aki to become champion. There was a Dragon Gate Glorious Gate Day 8 show, a Diana and Asuka produced show, where Asuka teamed with Aoka Sato to defeat Ami Miura and Hagan Sanu. There was also Kukataro defeating Madeline, so that had to be a fun match. DDT Judgment 2021, their 25th anniversary. For the KOD 8-man tag titles, oh boy, these names: Shikara, Sanshiro Takagi, Akanabi, and Yuki Naya defeated champions Antonio Honda, Kazuki Hirata, Shinya Aoki, and Super Sasa Dango Machine to become the champions. Hiroshima defeated Yuki Sakaguchi in a quick match, but good nonetheless. And then for the KOD Openweight title, champion Jun Akiyama defeated Kazusada Higuchi in a very good match. Big Japan Pro Wrestling, Day 5. Here we had Shuma Katsumoto defeating Drew Parker, so they are tied up there. All Japan Dream Power Series 2021, Day 5. Yoshitatsu defeated Noboru Uchida in a different style fight match in round 3. Tajiri and Jake Lee teamed up with Hakuto Omori to win their 6-man match. Advanced show took place. All-Star Wrestling from Australia also took place from Penrith, Australia. Where the interim heavyweight title was on the line with champion Keegan Brettle defeating Harvey Falco. Back here in the States for Time Bomb Pro Wrestling from Fargo, North Dakota on YouTube. No ring, no rules match. Devin Monroe defeated Blair Onyx. And for the Time Bomb title, Dominic Greeny defeated champion Oren Veit to become new champion there as well. There was an H2O and Sean Henderson Presents Family, a benefit to Terry Calloway show. That's on the IWTV. In a match with Danbury, took on Faye Jackson. It went to a no contest because Faye got injured. So Hope out as well, since they both had matches coming up this Mania weekend. Then there was the IWTV Cassandra Cup show on IWTV, of course. Io O'Neill and Jordan Blade defeated Alley Cat and Effie for the Britney Spears Open Invitational 5-way elimination match. Brooke Valentine won that. I don't get this. Not going to get into the names. For the Chocolate City title, champion Billy Dixon defeated Darius Carter. And in the Cassandra Cup final match, Edith Sorrell defeated Ashton Starr. Asylum Wrestling Revolution, Merciful Fate, Indianapolis, Indiana. Billy Starks defeated Mitch Onyx. And then for the AWR title, champion Justin Kyle defeated Madman Fulton. All-Star Pro from Bethany, Oklahoma. For the live stream title, which was vacant, Maui Mike won that. Monday, March 9th, New Japan Road to Sakura Day 2 took place, and Dragon Gate Glorious Gate Day 9 took place, where Ultimo Dragon won his tag match. Tuesday, Tuesday, March 30th, New Japan Day 3, where they debuted the new Unified title. I'm not a fan of it, sorry. For the Marvelous, that's Women's Pro Wrestling, 1 month to Gaizum. Asuka took on Ren Katakura in a 15-minute draw. Back here in the States, Ohio Valley Wrestling, TV 1129, where Dustin Jackson defeated Tony Beazle for the #1 contendership heavyweight match. New South Pro Wrestling, Action Class 29, Cabana Man Dan defeated Brett Eisen, and Dylan McQueen with Kenzie Page defeated Donnie Janela and Effie. Heavy Metal Wrestling had a show on Wednesday, March 31st. Nice Room Peace Party 69. They had tournament block matches. Paradigm Pro Wrestling from Jeffersonville, Indiana. UWFI Rules Contender Series 2. Cole Radrick defeated Yoya. Kerry Awful defeated Aaron Williams. And Tom Lawler defeated Lord Crew. Limitless Wrestling The Road, Season 3, Episode 6. Ava Everett defeated Little Mean Kathleen, and Masa Slamovich defeated Becca. On to Thursday, April 1st. Wave Phase 2 Reboot Second Nami 1. For the Pure J Openweight title, champion Kari Oniyama defeated Yuki Miyazuki. Sorry about that. Tokyo Yoshi Pro Inspiration 1. It was all the up girls. So Mizuki defeated Miyu Watanabe. Rika Tatsumi defeated Raku. And in a hardcore match, yes, Rina Yamashita defeated Hikari Noa in one of her... She's a hardcore wrestler, but by what she wants to do, this is her first time. I don't know how she feels afterwards because she got kind of beat up. Not busted up, but beat up. It was an interesting hardcore match for Tokyo Yoshi Pro. Don't really see many of those there. Fun, quick show, I must say, since it was just the 3 matches. Freedoms Pro Wrestling, the Gokikujo 2021 for the UWA World Junior Heavyweight title. Brahman Kai defeated champion Komu to become new champion. There was a Kaliga Pro on YouTube show. Beyond Wrestling, the Signature Series, number 6. In a no DQ match, Slade defeated Matthew Justice. In the tournament for tomorrow, final match, Brandon Watts and Randy Summers defeated Solo Darling and Willow Nightingale. And in the Greatest Rivals round robin deciding match, Matt Mikowski defeated Chris Dickinson. That was a good match between those two. And then soon thereafter, Beyond Wrestling had a Fool's Paradise show with Chris Dickinson defeating Richard Holiday. Yes, Richard Holiday made an appearance outside of MLW. Masa Slamovich defeated Erica Lee. Willow Nightingale defeated Aaron Rourke. Ashley Vox and Dummy Exo defeated Ia Sorrell and Solo Darling. Matt Mikowski defeated Alexander James. Bear Country of Bear Boulder and Bear Brunson defeated Bobby Orlando and Bryce Donovan. Max Caster defeated Slade. So a couple of AEW talents went back to their roots for Beyond. And in the main event was Wheeler Yuta defeating Trish Adora. Pro submission on Twitch. IWA Mid-South Battle of the Sexes from Jeffersonville, Indiana. For the IWA Mid-South Heavyweight title, champion Jay Chris defeated Congo Kong. So Congo will not be happy come Warrior Wrestling. On to Friday, April 2nd. Celine had a show. Big Japan Deathmatch Day 7. Yeah. Wrestle Rock 30 from Richmond, Australia. For the Wrestle Rock title 4-way match, Cracker Jack won that to become champion. Westside Extreme Wrestling, We Love Wrestling number 7 took place. New Japan Strong 34, Road to New Japan Cup USA. Rocky Romero defeated Kevin Knight. Alex Colgan and TJP defeated Jordan Clearwater and Mysterioso. Chris Dickinson, J.R. Krotos, and Tom Lawler defeated Brody King, Logan Regal, and Sterling Regal. And then they also debuted their new Strong Openweight title for the USA. So the New Japan Strong USA has their own title. Okay. Too many titles, I'm sorry. We move on to Saturday, April 3rd, earlier today. Wave Osaka Rhapsody Volume 50. For the Wave Tag titles, Usuki Oki and Rin Katakura, who are champions, defeated Sakura Hiroto and Yuki Miyazaki. Tokyo Pro Spring Tour 21, The Bullet. I guess I missed this show. Watching too much baseball. So Hikari Noa defeated Mihiro Kiru. Mayu Yamashita defeated Raku and Sina Sayori. Maki Ito Ito-chan defeated Mako Miyamoto. Yumi Suzumi and Yuki Kamufuku defeated Hirono Neko, Naika Kuda, and Powerrr Juko. Riku Tatsumi defeated Arushu Endo. And 8-woman tag, Nadeka Tenma, Yuki Aino, Hyper Misao, and Soka Nakajima defeated Mizuki, Yuki Sakazaki, Ruko Kabashi, and Miyu Watanabe. That sounds like a fun show. Hope to see it soon. Noah Mio Breeze 2021 show took place. Ice Ribbon 1107 took place. Gadamu Chaka Pro 101 and Heat Up collaboration show took place on YouTube, where Balian Aki and Mei Suruga defeated Hiroshi Watanabe and Tetsuya Azuki. And DDT, peanuts are good source of protein. I don't want to know. This show is set to broadcast in a couple days, so this is a spoiler alert. Since the DDT Iron Man Heavy Metal title is on the line, Antonio Honda, Keigo Nakamura, and Mao defeated champions Kazuki Hirata, Saki Aki, and Toru Owashi to become the champion. So Antonio Honda was the champion, and then quickly lost it to Saki Aki, who is now champion once again. Title I just enjoy, so I had to put it out there. Sorry if that's spoiler anything for anyone. That's right for me. Till next time, which will be very soon, since it is in the Mania week, and where I will recap most of the shows, since there are quite a few, along with other news from around the wrestling world, since there is a big Stardom show and New Japan show April 4th, which is earlier today, if you watch this or listen to this right away. Don't forget to look up those Twitch streams, which includes AAW Pro on Saturdays for the coming weeks. I know I will check it out later today. And those YouTube channels for other wrestling content. Thank you for watching or listening. Hope you enjoyed the cut. Keep safe, take care, and be kind to one. Back to you, Tom.
All right, thank you, Charlie. So we're going to move right along into our next segment of the show, where I get to play armchair promoter here, and that is the Fantasy Booker. So for the Fantasy Booker this week, it's actually one I touched on a little while ago, the Blood and Guts match between Pinnacle and the Inner Circle. And I just want to get a little bit into how these two factions match up. You know, let's start with the big men. You've got, for the Pinnacle, you've got Wardlow, who has yet to be completely unleashed in AEW, and I think now is the time to do it. And on the side of the Inner Circle, you've got Jake Hager. Two big bulls just go in there and beat the holy hell out of each other. Now, Hager obviously has the advantage with his MMA experience and things like that, but Wardlow is just a beast. So I think this would be a fantastic matchup between those two guys. Then you've got the tag teams on either side. On the side of the Pinnacle, you've got FTR, and on the side of the Inner Circle, you've got Santana and Ortiz. Arguably two of the best tag teams in the world currently. You know, FTR obviously not started their careers, but made a name for themselves in WWE, specifically in NXT, where they were just the best tag team there for quite a while. Santana and Ortiz from Impact were known as LAX, and longest reigning Impact tag team champions of all time. So I mean, just the matchup with these two tag teams is unbelievable. That in and of itself is a dream match. Then you've got kind of the wild cards, I would call them, Shawn Spears and Sammy Guevara. Again, two guys that match up very, very well. A little bit different styles, but Shawn Spears, another one that I don't think has had the opportunity to really, really shine in AEW, and this, again, is the perfect time to do it. And Sammy Guevara, He has had that opportunity in AEW and has just ran with it. Sammy Guevara, one of the guys who I consider to be the future of AEW. And then, of course, you got the leader of each group, MJF and Chris Jericho. MJF, best heel in wrestling right now, bar none. I don't care what anybody else says. MJF has being a heel down to an art form, and he is a master of it. And Chris Jericho, one of the greatest of all time. He's in the conversation as the greatest of all time, in my opinion. As somebody who's been watching and studying and, learning everything I can about professional wrestling for damn near 40 years, Jericho is one of the best of all time. So, if you disagree, I'm sorry. But, so you take these two 5-man teams and you put them in a War Games type situation, 2 rings, single cage, and they got to have the top on the cage. They have to. That's people's number one complaint about WWE's War Games is there's no top on the cage. But they try to compensate for that by saying if you leave the cage, you forfeit. Just put the top on the damn cage. And now AEW has called this Blood and Guts, so I'm thinking there's going to be some kind of twist to it. Maybe they're going to go like the route of Lethal Lockdown in Impact, where they fill the cage up with weapons. That could make things very interesting. Put some kendo sticks, some cages, some baseball bats, and who knows what else in there. I said kendo sticks and cages. Kendo sticks and chairs. Good God, what's wrong with me today? Kendo sticks, chairs, some baseball bats, whatever the hell else you can think of to throw in there. And just let these guys go to war. I think it should have the staggered entry, very old school War Games. Start off one-on-one. You do the little coin flip, or however you want to decide who's going to get the man advantage. And, every couple of minutes, somebody else enters the ring till you get all 10 guys in there. And then you just go until somebody wins. So, that is my fantasy booker for this week. I want to see Pinnacle versus the Inner Circle in this Blood and Guts War Games style match. I think it would be that done properly with those 10 guys in there has potential for match of the year, in my opinion. So hopefully we'll get to see something like this. Hopefully this won't be a fantasy forever. I don't think it's going to be. We're going to see a big match. We're going to see a lot of big matches between Pinnacle and Inner Circle over the next few months. So, hopefully this Blood and Guts War Games type match will be one of them. So let's keep it rolling right along here, getting into the last segment of the show where I have been counting down my top 10 WrestleMania matches of all time, and I'm doing that in the Weekly Hot Take. All right, so we are up to my number 2 WrestleMania match of all time, and it comes from WrestleMania 13, 1997, right here in Chicago. I was sitting ringside in that chair hanging behind me. Yeah, that one right there. And I was just enthralled with this match, and I am talking about Bret Hart versus Stone Cold Steve Austin in the submission match. This is the match where you had that iconic picture of Steve Austin's face with the blood running down his face and going in between his teeth with it while his mouth was open. And, Bret won the match, but Austin never said, "I quit." Ken Shamrock was a special guest referee. This was his WWE debut. And, he stopped the match because Stone Cold passed out from the pain. And, this was the one where we had the double turn with Stone Cold becoming a babyface and Bret Hart becoming a heel. And, this another just one of the, there's a couple of moments in Steve Austin's career that really solidified him as Stone Cold and, kind of signaled that this is the new type of babyface that, that the fans want. And one was, of course, the Austin 316 speech, which I was there for as well, believe it or not, in Milwaukee at the King of the Ring. I was, sitting, I wasn't quite as close as I was at WrestleMania. I had floor seats. I want to say I was in the 16th row, but I was there for the Austin 316 speech, and I was there for the submission match with Bret Hart at WrestleMania 13. Those probably the two biggest moments that solidified Steve Austin as the guy. So, yeah, that is number 2 on my top 10 greatest WrestleMania matches of all time. Bret Hart versus Stone Cold Steve Austin in a submission match at WrestleMania 13 from 1997. So that is going to wrap things up for this week. Want to remind everybody again that tomorrow we will be dropping our special WrestleMania week preview episode. I will be breaking down all of the WWE events coming up this week, starting with Raw on Monday and going all the way through to Night 2 of WrestleMania on Sunday. Charlie G will be going through some of the independent matches or independent events that are going to be going on this week. And like I said, there is a ton of them. I believe Charlie told me there's 36 of them. So so yeah, definitely tune in for that. Get the previews and predictions and all that kind of fun stuff for everything coming up on WrestleMania week. And then on Friday, April the 9th, dropping at noon. It's already scheduled. You can go to our YouTube page and set yourself a reminder to check out the premiere. Friday, April 9th at noon will be our WrestleMania panel, just talking about all things WrestleMania throughout the years. Not about this year's card or anything like that, but talking about WrestleMania as a whole, as an event throughout history, where it's been, where it's at now. We do some fantasy booking of some matches that we would love to see at WrestleMania. Talk about our favorite WrestleMania matches and just all kinds of WrestleMania stuff. Had some very special guests for that one, including the promoter for Warrior Wrestling, Steve Tortorello, my buddy Rich Lang, who does the other show with me, known as Jabs, Just Another Bullshit Show. You can find that on YouTube as well. Charlie G is part of that panel, and also a gentleman by the name of Demetrius Payne, who's a lifelong hardcore wrestling fan and really knows his stuff when it comes to the pro wrestling and WrestleMania in particular. So make sure you check that out. Dropping on Friday, April 9th at noon on YouTube, our special WrestleMania panel. Also want to remind everybody about our next live broadcast coming up at the Warrior Wrestling Stadium Series. First night of that is June the 5th. That broadcast is already scheduled. You can head over to Podbean and set yourself a reminder for that one. And then I believe that pretty much covers everything. Lots of stuff coming up for us over the next week and next couple of months. So make sure you check it all out. Again, I want to thank everybody for watching, listening, and subscribing on YouTube, Podbean, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts from. Make sure to head to catchhookshoot.com. You can find all the podcasts, all the videos, all the interviews, photo galleries, shop, anything you could want to find about Catch, Hook, and Shoot, you can find at catchhookshoot.com. Make sure you follow on social media on all platforms. You can find the show at Catch, Hook, Shoot. Head to patreon.com/catchhookshoot for all your bonus content, which the April content will be going up later today. And check out, make sure you subscribe to our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/catchhookshoot, where we're going to be doing just intermittent watch parties, checking out movies or videos, whatever, about pro wrestling. Like I said, just a fun time, good way to interact. I usually do it on Saturday evenings. I always post it on social media beforehand. It's not really a set schedule. It's just kind of here and there, just something for fun. So, check it out and, come hang with us, watch some wrestling videos, and, just have a good time. Head over to ProWrestlingTees.com/CatchHookShoot. Grab yourself a shirt there, and you can find all that and more at Linktree/CatchHookShoot, or just scan this little QR code right here in the corner of your screen. If you're watching on YouTube, it'll take you to our Linktree. And if you ever want to shoot me an email, it's catchhookshoot@gmail.com. So with that, I am going to sign off for this week. Hope everybody has had a great week. Hope everybody is ready for WrestleMania week. There's a lot of stuff coming up this week, so make sure you check out the preview show tomorrow so you can be up to speed on everything that's coming up in this next crazy busiest week of the year in professional wrestling. But hope everybody has a great week, and I will talk to you guys soon.